Okie dokie, folks. We're going to start the process here of draining the fuel tank. We're going to be taking the head off this John Deere B. It needs a head gasket in the least. So during that process, since the tractor is going to be out of commission anyway, I decided to do a few other things that are needed to be done with it. And one of those is replacing the sediment bowl, because the sediment bowl that is, well, or the fuel light, the fuel valve don't work, it leaks, and the sediment bowl don't seal up, so that leaks too. So instead of playing around with making sure there's adequate ventilation in whatever building I leave this thing in or whatever, it's we're just going to replace that. So this here we're replacing, and then we're just going to take that out as soon as we get all the gas drained out of the tank. Then after that, we're going to take the carburetor off and all the linkages, get all that out of the way. And we're going to take, there's a tube back on the other side, got to take that out. Got to drain the coolant out of here too. I got some buckets for that. And then the valve cover is going to come off, and hopefully once I get that off and get everything situated there, I'll find a way that I can pull the head out and then use a come along to lower the head onto the floor. Of course, this is all big hopes and dreams. So anyway, this is just a boring process and an introduction. This is going to be a multi-part series of pulling the head off of this 1950 John Deere B. Okay, on to the next step. We got the sediment bowl assembly out. I'll put that away. So I got linkages taken off the carburetor here. I got some of these loosened up. Got a few more here. Something I didn't mention in the last part of the video is doing this, you got to make sure you have good ventilation. I have both overhead doors open part way. It's a wonderful day out in February. It's like 42 degrees or something. It's pretty odd. It's not usual weather for us right now. So I'm taking advantage of it. So you got to have good ventilation to do this. Ventilation fans, you know, whatever. Anyway, you want a lot of fresh air, a lot of air moving around. I decided to use an oil pan to catch all the spilled fuel instead of letting it build up on cardboard on the floor, because that is a really, really big fire risk that I don't plan on risking. So I have this funnel here, and it's kind of caught fuel as it drained. I've already drained the carburetor. All the places, or as of right now, I've only bought parts from one place, and that's Martin's Repair in Pennsylvania. I'm having parts shipped to me because the parts that I had available to me around here were a lot more expensive, and I wasn't too interested in that. So now I got my carburetor off of there, and it looks like I can salvage these two gaskets. This is a DTLX 67 carburetor, in case anybody is interested in knowing that. But for now, I'm going to end this segment, reposition the camera, and move on to the next one. Okay. Now that I see we're recording again, here's where it's going to get a little interesting. I'm actually not sure how much coolant is in this thing at the moment, or even what the not even sure what the capacity of it is. but I know it's a lot. I got 2 pails ready here, and I got a third off to the side if I need it. This is a 1.1/8" wrench that I got here that I'm going to use to take the plug out of the bottom here with, and I'm hoping that I won't make too much of a daggone mess. When it comes to this. And this coolant is a little bit warm. And I end up wearing quite a bit of it here. So I'm going to slide that over like that. I did put relatively new coolant in it. Last spring, when I did put coolant in it, and there's one 5-gallon pail. And this is actually some pretty icky looking coolant. So I'm probably going to end up putting all new coolant in this thing, because it is grubby nasty. Okay, so the last thing you seen was I drained the coolant out, and I managed to drop a wrench in there, so I got pissed off and had to fish it out. So I put a lid on that bucket to prevent that from happening again. I got me another light up here, and I got the exhaust tube here, that one there, got that pulled out. So now this is all fair game and cleaned up. Now I think what's next, now that it seems to be done dripping, is I'm going to take this bottom coolant tube out, which doesn't look too pleasurable myself, but I think I'm going to do that before I open up the valve cover, because it might, I'm not sure, I've never been in this Deere before, but if I go ahead and do that, it might make an oily mess. So I'm gonna take that tube out and let more coolant drain into that bucket, and then I can put a different bucket under there for oil. So alright, well, on to the next segment. Okay, I think we're recording again. Now I got the lower coolant tube out, and oofta, it is disgusting. I mean, I expected bad, and it's bad. I mean, inside there, I don't know how well you can see, but it's just full of this, where's my screwdriver, this nasty sludgy shit. Ooh, it's gross. So this is gonna, this thing's gonna need some good old-fashioned TLC cleaning of the cooling system. I'm hoping that, because I didn't see it up by the radiator at all in the coolant hose, so I'm hoping that because this is just the lowest point, that this is where it accumulated, so I can clean that out. And it'll be fairly clean throughout the rest of the tractor, hopefully. So now, I imagine all I got left is to take the valve cover off and start loosening up that head to get it wiggled loose on the studs.